Goeiemorgen. Good morning, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. Well, this is a shout out to Maurice, who sent me this very interesting article about the ANC and Ramaphosa's 1994 plan for the whites. Yep, you know hippo eyes, yeah? Ramaphosa, the hippo in the room. Okay, so the article is titled Cyril Ramaphosa and the Story of the Frogs in the Water. And yeah, we've discussed this quite a bit about the boiling water strategy. In recently published memoirs, one of Cyril Ramaphosa's main opponents pays generous tribute to his character and negotiating skills during the talks leading up to the new South African Constitution and the election in 1994. And before I go any further, a few months ago I posted a copy of the 1993 minutes of an ANC meeting where they talked basically about this issue that we're going to talk about here. Dr. Mario Oriani Ambrosini, who died in 2014, was a constitutional lawyer who became an MP. He was also a key advisor to Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi, both during the negotiations and afterwards, when the latter was Minister of Home Affairs in the governments of national unity. His memoirs, The Prince and I, a South African institutional odyssey, are published this year by his estate. According to the memoirs, Mr. Ramaphosa stood head and shoulders above his colleagues in the African National Congress, or ANC, as well as above the National Party's negotiators. He was a born leader and a straight shooter, nor did he ever lie or ever misrepresent anything. Key words. What then are we to make of this paragraph in Dr. Oriana Ambrosini's intriguing memoirs? And he says, in his brutal honesty, Ramaphosa told me of the ANC's 25-year strategy to deal with the whites. It would be like boiling a frog alive, which is done by raising the temperature very slowly. Being cold-blooded, the frog does not notice the slow temperature increase, but if the temperature is raised suddenly, the frog will jump out of the water. He meant that the black majority would pass laws transferring wealth, land, and economic power from white to black, slowly and incrementally, until the whites lost all they had gained in South Africa, but without taking too much from them at any given time to cause them to rebel or fight. Since then, Mr. Ramaphosa has had a great deal else to say. He said recently that radical economic transformation requires policies with an overriding focus on the creation of jobs. Policies that do not create jobs or that threaten jobs must be reviewed and revised. This thinking is incompatible with expropriation of all white wealth, land, and economic power. Mr. Ramaphosa recently told the South African Communist Party that far higher levels of fixed investment were necessary to achieve growth and create employment on a massive scale. Such investment would not be forthcoming in the context of the mass expropriation of white property, of which he spoke to Dr. Oriana Ambrosini. Investors are extremely wary. Mr. Ramaphosa knows this. Even so, he has recently endorsed the ANC's policy of bringing about a national democratic revolution, although these remarks are routinely ignored by newspapers and nearly all online commentators. Either they do not take them seriously, or they do not wish to alert the frogs. Mr. Ramaphosa, of course, benefits from this voluntary censorship. His remarks all those years ago helped to explain something the mining industry does not understand. Why, despite its achievements in handing over equity to black economic empowerment partners, the mining minister keeps on demanding more. Although his language was lurid, what Mr. Ramaphosa told Dr. Oriani Ambrosini is in line with the strategy and tactics documents the ANC and its SACP allies publish from time to time on the national democratic revolution. Implementation does not involve a big bang approach, because this would frighten the horses or alert the frogs. An incremental approach is likely to be more successful. Move forward when you can. Stage a tactical retreat if you provoke too much opposition, and then press forward when the time is more auspicious. To what extent Mr. Ramaphosa is still committed to what he said in his speech about white people and frogs is not clear. As a trade unionist, before he went into politics, he had to adopt a pragmatic approach. If he ever became president of the ANC and of our country, would pragmatism supplant revolutionary ideology? The answers can only be guesswork. Mr. Ramaphosa's main attraction at this stage is that his political rivals for the top job are uninspiring, if not worse. This alone will secure him media and business support, irrespective of whether he is a revolutionary or a reformer. Okay, there you go. So there's the boiling the frog in the water theory, which apparently is behind what's going on in South Africa today. Now, just while we're talking about that, there's a photo that's doing the rounds, and I need to talk about it, because one of the things that I depend on is links that you guys send me, videos that you send me, photos that you send me, and obviously where I feel they are genuine and valid, I will obviously publish them if they're relevant to this particular channel's direction. Now, the photo that I'm talking about, and I've been sent the same photo by several people over the last 24 hours. It is of a signboard, apparently in Zimbabwe, and it's got murder on the top. I'm not going to say what the rest of the signboard says, because let me tell you guys, that is a fake photo. It's been photoshopped, okay? Those people who've seen it or who see it on social media, it doesn't exist in reality. Someone's done that on their computer. And it's one of the things I have to be so very careful of, because if I've been drawn into and published that photo, bang, I would have been in the hot seat. So it's one of the quirky aspects of this job. I depend on the information you send me, and if I feel it's valid, if it's from one of the subscribers who sends me really good information, more often than not I'll publish it. And sometimes I get it wrong. It's not because I'm creating fake news, it's because someone is misleading the truth. And where I find something is incorrect, and I've done this a couple of times, as you guys know, I'll take it off the channel just like that. So, this channel is not about putting anything out there that's not true, but I do depend on the people who supply me the information. And sometimes I've got to take a bit of a risk, because I think it's important that we get the message out there. All right, guys, please remember to subscribe to be kept informed, and I hope you're having a great day. Bye for now.